Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Kofi, when you are ready, let us know. Shall we start?
Okay. Hello. Hello.
No.
Yeah.
Good morning.
No.
Good morning.
Not start.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I do welcome all of you into this meeting. Professor Charles, our African head, Professor Dr. Amina from the International Office, Mrs. Paola Umfil from Botswana,
You can start.
Dr. Kofi, we're waiting for you. I think he's having network problem. Prof, you're on mute. Prof, you're on mute. If you want to speak, unmute.
I want to start it now. Because of the
Okay.
time factor.
We are live.
Okay.
We are live.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the respected dignitaries of IIU, distinguished speakers, honorable participants, our loving audience present here from all around the globe. We warmly welcome you to this conference of today, organized by the IIU Africa platform. I am Alex Koleji from Togo, and I am supposed to be here with you with Mr. Tate Mpofu from Zimbabwe. You are supposed to be the two moderators of today's event. It is my privilege to welcome you all to IIU African Continent Virtual Conference Seminar that we organize every month to help our people, our audience, understand some things to help us well for the development of our continent and the development of the whole world. So this is organized by the International Internship University African Team, the first global virtual university offering quality, accessible, and location-independent education around in all areas. I now invite Professor Charles Ebhoria, the head of African, to start with the prayer. Dr. Charles, you have the floor to start.
Christ, we bless your name. We thank God for this great opportunity that he has given us to see another day. We thank God for his mercy over us. We call upon him to strengthen us to be a successful one. Give everyone the graces we need to testify your goodness and your power, so that there will be global peace all over the world, so that everybody will be educated to know what one supposed to do at the right time and will receive the blessing from you. In the name of Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord. IIU, the world first virtual international internship university, is the change, bring the change, and is a revolution in the education. Kudos to our amiable founder, Sir Piyush Pandey, the co-founder, the trustee, and all the members, the board members, and working family team of IIU. Today is a special day. Today's conference is special in the sense that we are going to receive another blessing from God as regards the topic before us, which language for Africa? Africa is a country of 54 countries, according to United Nations. We have the South Africa, we have the Nigeria, Kenya, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ghana, Morocco, Mali, Senegal, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Uganda, Sudan, Madagascar, Somalia, Angola, Cameroon, Algeria, Rwanda, Tunisia, Cote d'Ivoire, Zimbabwe, Niger, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Togo, Libya, Eswatini, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Malawi, Libya, Central Africa Republic, Chad, Benin, Djibouti, Sierra Leone, Mauritania, Gambia, Cape Verde, Eritrea, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Southern Sudan, Western Sahara, Mauritius, Burundi, Seychelles, Republic of Congo, and Lesotho. All these are 54 countries we have. Looking at this country, the term African language refers to approximately 1,800 languages spoken in Africa. Some African languages such as Swahili, Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Zulu, Shona, Arabic, Portuguese, French, Roman, Amharic. Africa is a continent with a very high linguistic variety or diversity. There are an estimated 1,500 to 2,000 African languages, guiding approximately 140 languages, with some 11 million speakers scattered in Central and Eastern Africa. Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa, which is said to have between 100 and 150 million speakers. It is known as Batu language because it originated from other languages like Arabic. This is the official language of Tanzania, Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kenya. It is also used in countries like Ethiopia, Sudan, Burundi, Rwanda, Southern Somalia, Northern Mozambique, and Coros Islands. Swahili is the main medium of instruction in schools, and it is not considered a difficult language to learn, especially if you already know some Arabic. Swahili was the language used in the Lion King. There is no worry in Swahili and Sibia, which means lion. Hausa has over 40 million speakers around the continent. It is also spoken in countries includes Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Ghana, Chad, Congo, Eritrea, Germany, Ghana, Niger, Sudan, Togo, and North Africa. The Hausa uses the Boko and Latin alphabetic. It is one of the most advanced languages in Africa as a whole. The Igbo is also spoken in countries like Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. This is popular African language spoken by 20 million people, and it has over 20 individual dialects. The Igbo language gained prominence from Achebe, the author of Things Fall Apart, and whose majority of books were written in Igbo. The Yoruba. There are over 80 million Yoruba spoken in Nigeria, Benin, and Togo, combined, making it one of the West Africa most spoken languages. This African language has more than 15 dialects, includes Ekiti, Ijebu, Oworo, Ijesha, Akoko. The name Yoruba is also associated with the Yoruba dialect group, which is one of the largest African ethnic group in the region. The French. There are 26 African states that make up Francophone Africa. The top French-speaking countries in the continent includes Gabon, Mauritius, Cote d'Ivoire, Equatorial, Senegal, Sato Principe. French is also spoken by in Northern Africa country includes Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco. All over, French is spoken by over 120 million people in Africa. It is expected that there will be over 700 million French speakers in the world by 2050. 80% will be located in Africa. Portuguese. It is the still official language of 6 African states known as Lusophone Africa. These states include Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Cabo Verde, Sao Tome and Principe, and Equatorial Guinea. Portuguese is used as the mother tongue by assumedly 11 billion people on the continent. It is said that there are around 30 million people who use it as a second language. Portuguese is actually the working language of the African Union and the Southern Africa Development Community. The Zulu. This is one of the most widely spoken language of South Africa. Zulu is said to be used by over 10 million people. Zulu is not only a language, it is also the largest ethnic group in South Africa. Arabic. Spoken by 280 million people worldwide. Arabic is also used by people in countries like Egypt, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Libya, Tunisia, Eritrea. Arabic is one of the 6th most spoken language in the world. Shona, approximately spoken in Zimbabwe along with English. Shona is an African language used by over 10 million people. There are 2 different versions of Shona used for different purposes. Oromo. This is a significant language spoken in countries like Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, Egypt. Absolutely 30 million people use this language, and its people account for over 40% of the Ethiopian population. The Oromos people were forbidden from writing this language between 1974 and 1991. In fact, it was considered a crime. Later, however, Oromo scholars adopted the Latin script, and it was then used to teach reading and writing. The Oromo language is actually called Afia Oromo. Afaric. This is one of the main languages spoken in Ethiopia by over 20 million speakers. It is considered the 2nd most spoken Semitic language in the world after Arabic. The capital of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa. This means new flower in Amharic. We have 25 countries that are actually using English out of the 54 countries we have in Africa. Ethiopia, they use English. Cameroon, they use English and French. Eritrea, Arab and English. Ghana, English. Burundi, English. Botswana, English. Kenya, English. Malawi, English. Mauritius, English. Namibia, English. Lesotho, English. Liberia, English. Nigeria, English. Rwanda, English and French. Seychelles, English and French. Sierra Leone, English. South Africa, English, and 10 other official languages. Southern Sudan, English. Sudan, Arabic and English. Zimbabwe, English. Gambia, English. Uganda, English. Tanzania, English. Zimbabwe, English. Switzerland, Sweetie, and English. In conclusion, the easiest and most fun language to learn in Africa is the one that is interesting to you. So try as many as you like. You might just find the perfect fit. Note, if you grow bored with a language or it's just not working out the way you planned, there is no shame in putting it aside for later. I thank God for this topic, and I know I have my gurus around who our able and eminent speaker who will stress on what I've said. May God continue to bless us as we listen attentively. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Charles Ebhoria, for this wonderful introduction to today's topic, which is very crucial for Africa's unity and for the development. I have now the Ambassador Tatenda Mpofu, my co-moderator of today, who is around now. We don't have all the speakers around. I only see Paula on file connected now. So I will leave the floor for Ambassador Tatenda Mpofu to introduce Paula on file so that she takes the first part before introduce Dr. Aboti.
Sorry, Alice. Alice.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Are you now presenting the IIU team?
Shall we start back from? Shall we start back again from there? Okay. I thought due to time, okay, the presentation we could ellipse that. Okay, if so, then let me just introduce it.
Okay.
After the introduction of Prof. Charles to the topic, going back to this presentation was somehow.
I think that's what we do always. That's the tradition.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. Okay. So, we're going to introduce the IIU team to our dear audience. The inspiration of IIU Sri Danji Swami Ji Maharaj, his blessings and guidance in every endeavor of IIU are stimulating. Trustees of IIU, Dr. Rushani Lal Mam, Mrs. Anju Pandit, trustee, Ms. Anju Pandit, trustee of Swana Bharat Parivar, visionary founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandit, the man behind the success of IIU. Other co-founders of IIU, Mr. Steven V, co-founder IIU Australia, Mona Angia, co-founder IIU Indonesia, board members of IIU, Ms. Corina Shudia, Vice Chancellor IIU, Ms. Nada Ratkovic, Country Director Croatia, Ms. Emina Oprikan, Country Director Romania, Mr. Lutfianto Luda Pamungas, Country Director Indonesia, Dr. Snigdha Kadam, President Academics Global and IIU Research Center, India, Ms. Masuda Yasmin, Education Ambassador, India, IIU Advisory Council, Dr. Prachiba Mishra, India, Dr. N.D. Mato, India, Dr. Parin Somani, India, Dr. Vijay Kumar Shah, Dr. Tipe Shashi Kumar, and Academician Senior Professor Dr. Chaplain General Ebhoria U Charles, Continent Head, Africa IIU, Country Director, Nigeria. I now give the floor to Tete to continue the introduction of the team IIU.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alex. It is my pleasure to introduce uh, the team IIU. I believe you must all be curious to know more about International Internship University. So International Internship University is building a better and a brighter future for all young learners and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the world. IIU is metaphorizing the conventional education system by cutting down additional costs and providing access to more than 1,000 plus courses and internships to their e-learners across the globe. IIU has been accredited and affiliated to the World Education Organization, WEO, and International Accreditation Organization, IAO, and collaborated with all the world's top universities and educational institutions through the platform of massive open online classes, MOOC. IIU provides various certificates, including diploma, graduation, post-graduation diploma, post-graduation courses, and honorary doctorate. IIU has received many accreditations as the international standard for its innovation, vision, creative ideas, research and white paper publication. International Internship University is building a better and a brighter future for all young learners and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. IIU is the change. IIU brings the change. IIU is the revolution. Back to you, Mr. Alex.
So the IIU Council presents IIU WEC Women Entrepreneur Council, IIU ISDC International Student Development Council, IIU IYGC International Youth Development Council, IIU International Council for Educators. IIU WEC is giving an opportunity to every woman on this globe to witness the uncultivated talents within her to be the successful women entrepreneur. By joining IIU Women Entrepreneurs Council, women's empowerment is empowering women in all walks of life. Dear women, be the part of the International Internship University Women Entrepreneurs Council. They recognize you as an entrepreneur. This invitation is sent to all our audience, all the women following us at this moment. They are invited to join this platform so that they can develop their talents and achieve great things. IIU ISDC, nation's future depends on students, the youths. Students Council helps to raise funds for school, college-wise activities, including social events, community projects, helping people in need, and school reform. So you invite the youth following us at this moment to join this platform so that they can also help organize projects, realize projects for the development of their communities. IIU IYGC, youth counts but once in a life, according to Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Youth is not defined by age or type. It is defined by our your social energy and mature mind. So program focuses on developing young minds and making their one-time opportunity of lifetime achievements. Knowledge and education are the basis for all things that can be accomplished in life. IIU recognizes the contribution of educators all over the world in the field of education. So IIU ICE is in this domain and welcomes them to change the lives of many more by imparting quality education and spreading knowledge worldwide. Let me now introduce our founder, Sir Piyush Pandit, to our audience. There's always that one person who has a vision, the thoughts, the idea behind a successful venture and organization. And if we talk about the mind behind the success of IIU, is none other than our beloved founder of IIU, Mr. Piyush Pandit, a committed and inspiring social activist, as a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds, possessing excellent administrative, verbal communication, and written skills. He's a next-gen speaker and passionate writer. The versatile Piyush Pandit is the founder of Swana Bharat Parivar and chairman of Piyush Group. The visionary Piyush Pandit had just one dream: no child should be deprived of education. He concussed the world's first virtual internship university during the pandemic, the International Internship University, the IIU. The words are not enough for his dedication and hard work. Mr. Piyush Pandit, the multi-talented and devoted personality, has received a plethora of awards, recognitions, and honors in acknowledgement of his contribution to social work, education, and entrepreneurship, and so on. The list of his milestones is endless. After the hearing about the International Internship University, its councils, you all must be excited about today's event. I hope you are all. Okay. So now, let's now give the floor to Mr. Tate to introduce the IIU conference of today.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. The IIU African Continental African Continent Future Conference or Seminar on Education System is one of the greatest initiatives by the International Internship University to help better understand the various dynamics in the education system in various continents and countries. The IIU African Continent Future Conference is aimed at bringing speakers from various countries within the African continent to speak on the various dynamics in African education system. So in today's event is which language for Africa. So let's learn, share, and grow together this morning with the same enthusiasm. So today we are all going to be witnessing the pastoral of ideas and knowledge delivered by our 6 experienced speakers. Our African eminent speakers will share their possible solutions on the education in the new normal and including practical ideas about how to tackle this. By the end, I am very sure we are all will have many new competencies and tactics that we can put into action right away. So it is my honor and my privilege to introduce our first speaker, Ambassador Paula O.M. Otukile from Botswana. She is a seasoned educationist and a writer of more than 26 literature books. A book a book on overcoming failure was nominated as the best book of the year in the year 2022 by the Como Africa Awards in Zambia. She has won many national and international awards. It is my honor and my privilege to introduce to you and Ambassador Paula, we are honored and delighted to have you this morning. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, dear Paula.
All right. My name is Paula Umpile Muira Utukile. I'm from Mahalape, Botswana. Right now, I'll be talking to you all the way from Gaborone City in Botswana. I'm a alumni of African Languages and Linguistics from University of Botswana. I've also studied Mandarin Chinese from Shanghai Normal University, and have studied French also in University of Botswana as a major subject. I've taught English in Angola until COVID-19, English as a second language. But now I'm no longer an educator because I have endeavored in private sector. I'm doing African Literature Awards, I'm doing mentorship programs and other things respectively. And my book projects are the most focused that I'm in. Right now, I'm going to talk about Africa, a language that is very important in Africa, which is Swahili. I think the topic of today is which language for Africa. I'm not gonna say a particular language is better for Africa. Africa is not a pack, but Africa is a diverse of various countries encompassed in one continent. Therefore, individually, we can't get inside Nigeria and say Igbo is or Hausa or any other language like Yoruba is the language that is important. However, we can look at each and every person and say indigenous languages are very vital in the survival of education across Africa, because International Internship University is the university that wants to uphold the principles of learning across the world, is giving access to those who does not have access or that time to learn in a normal school environment. Therefore, I'm going to say that we should uphold the principles of why indigenous language is important in Africa. I'm thinking on the perspective of somebody who's coming from a country called Botswana, whereby if you know the land of Botswana, it is landlocked, and we are the house of Khoisans. The Khoisans are the first people. Therefore, we have a percentage or a lot of people who are still staying in the Kalahari Desert, and they are underprivileged because of the fact education reaches rural areas and cities, but there are areas whereby there are no schools. In one area, there is one school, whereby in a village, people are working strong or mighty miles to go reach the school and they can't get educated. If people get 50 years, there's no school in their surrounding, it means in that generation, lots of people want to go to school. Therefore, I have been in Kalahari Desert in Botswana. I've seen the infrastructure and places. It is disheartening to see in Africa today, the year 2022, whereby kids cannot go for tertiary education, even elementary, primary education, because of where they were born. Therefore, when we talk about which language for Africa, I think we should start from, as Africans, we have the language of the colonizers, or we have national or standardized languages. But we have to talk about the issue of how do we incorporate these languages into the curriculum. If a child starts learning their native language at school and at home, and then at school they start to learn English, and then they learn writing, somebody in the West, they're already doing grade 3 and they're excelling. Therefore, it is very important that in our curriculums in Africa, we should revise our curriculums to incorporate our native languages into the school curriculum, because that will enhance the quality of education. If kids can comprehend what the teacher is doing in the lower level, and then when they go to upper level, doing grade 5, 6, 7, they can start to learn the standard languages hand in hand with indigenous languages. Therefore, the education system will be better. Can I ask a question? In the West, people are not speaking English, French, Spanish. There are countries that were not colonizers, but they're on their own right. For example, the Chinese. When I went to study in China, we already had basic background of Mandarin Chinese. However, when we reached Beijing, before we went to Shanghai, the little Chinese that we were taught, it was a skeletal part of Chinese. There are millions of languages in China, same as Ghana, Nigeria, Botswana, South Africa has got various languages. When we went there, it proved that we did not learn anything at all. We started to learn from scratch. And when we acquired, by the year 2, when we start to acquire better language acquisition, the time was running for us to be looking into prospects of graduation. As if we are in level 200, we are expected to be mid the course. However, this proved that Chinese, the way they dance, that's why they are winning all over the world in the business sector, because they are not being influenced by any other people. In learning, they use Chinese Mandarin as the principle of standard language. Therefore, when you go to China, you do Chinese than to speak English or other languages. So it is important for us Africans to uphold our languages the same as the West uphold their languages. If somebody is coming to Nigeria and then they have to learn Igbo, and then they can't do business if they don't know Igbo, it will be important for us. It same applies as India. If people have to learn India or other Arabic languages when they go to India, and the mode of writing is diverse, it means us as Africa should learn from India for our quality of education to improve. We do not need to close ourselves from learning other things, because it will open up opportunities in future. For now that I've learned Mandarin, if people need some translator in the sector of construction here, I'm the first person to be consulted. But then if I only know Setswana, which is the national language in Botswana, I will suffer if I don't know other languages. However, the foundation of education, it is very important that native or indigenous languages are being upheld. For example, we are having broader language called Khoisan. In Angola, Unene region, the Khoisans are there, but the same phenomena is still happening. They are illiterate, they still have hunting gathering skills as mode of survival. Education has proved itself to be the liberator of the Black person or Africans. Even though the key seems to be lost because of opportunities and the wars that are happening in the world and economic shutdown or recession, those who have education, it has proved that they survive more better than those who do not. It is true that somebody can be illiterate and know how to survive today. However, majority numbers have shown that those who are educated are living better lives because of education. Therefore, the people of First People, the Khoisans, I urge us as Africans to ask our leaders to look for modes to help them. In Angola, where I was teaching in Kunene region, those people, when they see people from civilization or other areas like Sinyeka, they will be going deeper into where they are living. In Namibia, there's a place called Hagana. Still, you find those people in the outskirts of Windhoek. Those people, they are a little bit emancipated in Namibia, because you will find some are going to school and opportunities are opening up for them. However, if you are African, you know our lives, you will still see the traces of poverty, that the section that is more disadvantaged is that area. If you go to South Africa, in Krugersdorp, around the national parks, that's where you find, or you can find the Khoisan. The people Africa Xhosas are relatives of these people of the San. However, the Xhosas are much advanced and emancipated. But if you go towards Kimberley, Krugersdorp, and you look for the indigenous people, you will look at them and your heart will be sorry because they are still living the primitive life. In Botswana, the Great Kalahari is having more inhabitants of these people, but few are being taken to go to school. It's still the question of should 4% of the people be emancipated while 96% are still suffering? The answer is no. We need to all be emancipated through education as Africans. The other issue that I want to take to platform is languages in Southern Africa, which are considered to be Nguni or Bantu languages, are interlinking. We have my country, Botswana, is having Setswana, which is a group of languages that are Sotho. We have a country near South Africa called Lesotho. Lesotho, they speak Sesotho. However, we also have Northern Sothos and Southern Sothos. The Sothos in South Africa are divided. We have people speaking Sepedi towards Limpopo River. Those people, they speak the dialect that is closely related to Botswana language called Setsopong and Sepedi. They share the border with Zimbabwe and Botswana. We have people who speak Ndebele in Zimbabwe, but those people are found around Bulawayo. The same people, they are found in Botswana around Moroka in Northeast. We also have the same people in South Africa in Mpumalanga, where the base of the great legend Muzilikazi is found. However, still on Nguni languages, we are having Baswati or Isiswati language. The Baswati are found from Piet Retief towards the border of South Africa going to Swaziland. Baswati are in the land of King Mswati, the monarchy, but they are still there in South Africa. We also have the Zulus. The Zulus are being found all over and it's one of the major languages in South Africa and the dominating language in that manner. However, we have different dialects of this Zulu, which are found in Isindebele, Siswati, and others. We have the Xhosas from Eastern Cape, where Tata Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was born. These Xhosas, they are a great nation, and we still have a lot of Bantu in Botswana, Namibia, Zambia. You can find the interlinking languages in Zambia and Botswana through Kasane up north of Botswana. We'll be having Balodi, who are called Baroti. You will find it's a matter of lateral or a trill, R. Their languages, when they speak, both languages or both people can hear each other. This shows that the Bantu or Southern African people going towards Anaga, Rwanda, Cameroon, they are related. As Africans, finding the small interchanging similarities, this shows us we are being divided by borders by colonizers. However, for integrity and unity in language, literature, literacy, we should unite, because if you go towards Kenya, Rwanda, Cameroon, Tanzania, Congo, some parts of Congo, not all Congo, you will find people who speak Kiswahili, which us we call Swahili because we are non-Swahili speakers. These people are interrelated in language. However, we are having major languages which are the languages of colonizers such as English, which is widely found in countries that were colonized by the Great Britain. And then we'll have Portuguese. Portuguese is a Lusophone or language that was found from Portugal, Brazil. Those people, they are speaking with two different dialects. The others they use S. Is the same as the British English and the American English. If we take the word standardization and standardization, the difference, it will be on the Z and the S. It's the same with the Lusophone across the world. People who are colonized by Portugal, which is Portugal, the Angolans, Cape Verde, Sao Tome and Principe, they speak Portuguese, and the Mozambicans. However, it is a quite small percentage. We have a widespread of the Congolese, of the French, the Senegalese, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Togo, some part of Cameroon, and many others who speak French, and we call them La Francophonie or La Francophone. We have a wide, diverse culture of people who are living the French culture in their everyday life. However, our indigenous languages in some countries are dying, like Angola. I've been in Angola more than 5 years. I've never heard somebody in the street speak native language. They speak Portuguese in their own dialect. But there is a lot of Kimbundu, Umbundu, many other native languages that are dying slow death. Angola is a typical example. We forget our mother tongue, if we forget indigenous language. Indigenous language, they help in restoring culture. They help in restoring our spiritual identification. Why am I saying this? If something can hear you now, the first thing you can think to you say that in whatever language that you think of first when you were born. It is the same as God. The concept of God, if you want to feel closer to your spiritual or supreme being, it is more intimate when you speak in your mother tongue. However, there are people in the world that are derived from that. They only know language of the colonizer. The young people the youth in Angola, specifically Luanda, they don't know their mother tongue. Why? When you ask them, as a researcher, I will ask them, can you please tell me, I want water in Kimbundu? Our listener will say, go Tergunta mama, meaning I'll go ask mom. How can a 25-year-old tell me they are going to ask their mother about their mother tongue? A mother got no significance in a role of an adult. You can go there for advice, not for language. Therefore, as an African, it should make you feel pitiful when a brother from another country does not know their native language. She was not the same. I was a Baha'i. At church, I met a lot of youth, and as a capacity builder, when I'm with them, I'll ask them, can you at least say hello in Kimbundu? They will simply smile. The only language they know is Portuguese. It is a very disheartening thing to see children not knowing their mother tongue. others not knowing their mother tongue. There's one beautiful song that I heard and I loved in Angola. It's a Kimbundu song. It became more famous because I think the old man is one of the few people who are now speaking who are still speaking the mother tongue. However, I'm not going to dwell much about Angola because I think it's not the only country that's not speaking its original languages due to what was happening during colonization. Remember, Angola had war until 2002, which means it goes to the matter of education, the most important thing that put us here. Youth my age, in the evening, they go to clubs instead of thinking about their future. And the girls will be very beautiful with Brazilian hairs worth around $200 US. If you are a young person, you are unemployed, and you do hair that's worth around $200 US in this tough economy, it shows lack of principle or priority, because tomorrow you'll be hungry, whereas you can dress or adorn yourself with much quality things, whereas you don't have savings. Therefore, the Zungera or hawkers, there are more in Angola. This is because of the rich are more richer, the poor are more poorer. It goes back to the issue of education and language. If this barrier can be broken, today people can start to learn their indigenous languages. Education can be upheld there. Things will reverse and things will be better. Thank you very much for this platform. I hope that other speakers will divulge or speak more about the importance of indigenous language in Africa and how we can incorporate it in our curriculums to better our results. Thank you.
Wow, what a great presentation, great speech from Ambassador Paulina Okotile. Ladies and gentlemen, you read it for yourself that there is a need to revise our curriculum that will incorporate native languages to best boost or give quality to the African education system. It has been also noted that in Africa, there's most of our countries in Africa do not speak their native languages, but the languages of the colonizers. So it is a call for all African countries to be proud of their own languages. And it has also been noted that amongst young people, a lot of young people do not know their languages, thus there's a need to revive native languages amongst young people all over the world. So I believe if you are going to rise as Africa, if you are going to develop all African sectors, there is need to embrace our own languages for enhanced, better communications amongst African people. Wow, thank you so much, Ambassador Paulina Okotile from Botswana, for this excellent, very informative speech. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to give this time to my co-moderator, Mr. Alex, to introduce to us the next speaker, Dr. Kofi. Over to you, Mr. Alex.
Thank you, Ambassador Tatenda Mpofu. I also like to say a word on what Paula Umfel just shared with us. What I got finally from it is that we should value our local languages Before reaching a common language for Africa, we should start valuing our own languages in our various countries. Doing so, we will prepare people's mind to appreciate our own riches, linguistic riches, and also make use of it to contribute to the development of the continent. I think this is a very insightful sharing with us. We have to work on it and get to some points in future. I'll now introduce Dr. Kofi Abochi, who is a specialist of American Studies from the Université de Lomé, Togo. He is a part-time teacher of English and Literature at the Department of English and the Advanced School of Biological and Food Processing Techniques, Esteba, Université de Lomé. He also teaches translation at the Institut Supérieur des Langues et des Affaires, ISLA, and Vest Institute of Languages and Business, Lomé. With a doctorate degree in American Literature in April 2019 from the Université de Lomé, where he previously got a master's degree in American Literature July 2014 and a bachelor's degree in 2010, he is mostly concerned with social justice issues, especially promoting education and fighting inequalities among humans. In this vein, he joined the Cheerful Child and Youth CCY Enfance et Jeunesse Épanouie, AGE, in which he holds the position of General Secretary and the head of the Languages Department. In 2017, he was appointed the Country Director of the International Model Diplomats for the Integrated Development, IMDID, in which he has served his community in organizing trainings and conferences both on the national scene and the international one. In October 2017, he attended the 19th World Festival of Youth and Students in Moscow and Sochi, Russia. Consequently, he organized in August 2019 the Global Youth Diplomacy Conference at Balime, Togo, with an audience coming from 10 African countries, still with the vision of promoting social justice and an equal opportunity for all. He seized the opportunity in October 2019 to be the moderator of the first intergenerational dialogue of global peace in Lomé, Togo. He joined Earth Regenerative Project Sierra Leone in July 2020 and is currently the Togo ambassador. His current positions include country director for International Internship University IIU and the country coordinator of Global Education Network. Here, Mr. Abochi, for you, Dr. Abochi, you have the floor to present your argument on this topic of today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alex. Good morning, all. Here in Lomé, the time is 9 o'clock. Dear Professor Charles, dear Dr. Emina, dear Dr. Prince Anagu, and our dear moderators, good morning. It's a great pleasure for me to have you all again. We have embarked on this journey for a long time now, and we are still together. It's nice of you. And I would like to say a big thank you to Ambassador Paola Omphile for the great speech, a very instructive speech, and I learned a lot from it. Yeah, that's so good. Our topic of today is which language for Africa? I hope you could hear me. Am I audible?
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear.
Okay, good. Thank you.
We can hear you.
All right, thank you. Our topic of today is which language for Africa? This is a very crucial topic because here in Africa, as you know it, we have more than 1,000 languages according to the statistics. Some even claim we have more than 5,000 languages. But at least 55 of them have at least 1 million speakers all over Africa. So the question remains, which language for Africa? And somebody will ask, why even this question? Why should we wonder which language for Africa? Why? Because we have languages already and we are using languages. So why the question, which language for Africa? This question is very relevant and very important. Why? Because people or a nation is defined by their language. The language you speak defines you. And that's why a researcher said, we don't speak a language, but a language speaks us. The language you speak speaks you. It's a kind of tautology, but which is very crucial. And in your language, you have your identity and you have the genes for your development. Reason why it's very, very important that we often and usually stop and think about this issue. We need a language for Africa. If you call somebody a French man or a French woman, it means the person speaks French and the person is from France. If you call somebody an Englishman or an Englishwoman, it means the person is from England and speaks English. A Chinese is somebody who speaks a language we all call Chinese, which in fact is Mandarin. But you cannot be a Chinese and not speak. You cannot be a Chinese in another man's body, if I can say it so. If you are French, it's because you speak French. You cannot be a French and then speak another language. And every language is embodied in the culture or comes with the culture of that. Now, here in Africa, most of us, we are English speakers. They don't call us Englishmen or English women or Frenchmen or French women. We are called French speakers, English speakers, Portuguese speakers, and all that. And this comes with us a lot of problems of identity, because you can see here in Africa that most of us don't really know who we are. We are lost. We are lost even in our way of thinking. We are lost in defining even the reason why we are here on earth. And why? Because we are speaking languages we don't even know anything about. We are speaking languages and the culture of those languages are different from our own culture. And it's a sad reality that here in Africa, there are many people born, bred in Africa. They did all their studies in Africa, but they don't speak any local language, any African language. I will not say local, sorry. Any African language. They don't speak their mother tongue. They cannot speak their mother tongue. I thank again Ambassador Paula for raising this point earlier. But how can that be possible? At least if we have not yet defined any specific language for Africa, we have our mother tongues. We have our national languages. So at least speaking them to some extent give you a bit of identity. So you travel to England, they call you, where are you from? You say, I'm from here. Which language do you speak there? You say, now, how do you say good morning in your language? And you say, I don't know. How can that be possible? And how can we have gone to that point? It is a very, very sad reality. And it's a very dangerous thing for Africa. Right now, you can see many people calling for a change in our politics, in our governance, national governance all over Africa. You can see that on social media and in real life, people calling for change. But I think what we cannot see clearly is change must come from society. Our change must first be a social change. Unless we have a change in the way we organize ourselves, in the way we live our daily life, we cannot really expect the change. We cannot really have the change we are expecting. So it's a very, very, very important issue. And in literature, right from in the years 70s, 1970s, great African minds met in a conference called the Makerere Conference, where we have the likes of Chinua Achebe, Obinzuwa Wali, and we have Ole Soyinka and many other great minds who met. And the issue was which language for Africa? this exact question was put. And when the question was put, the debate was very, very hot. As you can see it nowadays, some people say, no, we have English already. Why do you want us to speak an African language? You have French already. We have Portuguese already. So why another language? We have German already. Why another language? Why a language for Africa? For some people, it's like we are trying to go back to a certain past that is already past. No, not at all. The need for a language for Africa, or the need for us Africans to speak our language is more than just a mere topic. Sorry, we would like Ambassador Talenda to mute his microphone. Please mute your microphone if you are not speaking. Mute your microphone, please. So let me proceed. Now, at this conference, the Makerere conference, many voices came and said, we cannot change. If you write in Ewe, for example, the language we speak here is Ewe, Ewegbe, which is a language considered to be one of the original languages. Anyway, there's another debate. But a language spoken in southern Benin, southern Togo, and even I will not say southern Togo, big part of Togo, and also in southern Ghana. Some even say we have some groups of speakers in southern Nigeria and also southern Cote d'Ivoire. A language spoken by a large group of people. But as you know it, many people who speak those languages think it's useless. And some parents are rather teaching French and English to their children rather than letting them speak the mother tongue. Now, the question at this conference was, if I write in Ewe, how can somebody from Botswana like Paula, how can they read my work? How can somebody like Talenda from Zimbabwe, how can he read my work and get my ideas? If I write, or if another person writes in Hausa, for example, and I don't speak Hausa, I don't understand Hausa, how can I understand? If somebody speaks or writes in Arabic, while in sub-Saharan Africa, we don't speak Arabic, how can I understand? All these questions were raised. But someone like Obi came and said, come on, I think we're making a terrible mistake. Writing in our mother tongue or in our national languages is not a matter of choice. It's an obligation for us. Why? Because French people speak French and they write in French. English people speak English and write in English. And a language bears the culture of the environment, the place where it's spoken. So if we write in English, which culture is being conveyed through that? Which culture supports the English you write in? Is it the culture of English from England, or our own culture here? You will see Achebe in his writing, like it's popular, it's a masterpiece. Things fall apart. Many a time he will give some Igbo proverbs. So there's that need of bringing his culture, but then as it is in another person's language, it does not have the same meaning, or it does not carry the same weight as it should in our languages. Now, coming to how can we get there? How can we, over these 1,000 languages, or even more than 5,000 languages, over these 75 languages spoken by at least 1 million people, how can we get to one language? How can we do that? And then to this question, I think Ambassador Paula has already said it. In China, they don't speak only one language. They speak several languages, but they decided we need a language to move on. So Mandarin, which is the language we call Chinese today, was kind of forced on people. It's a national plan. We need to create a national identity. So we cannot like say, oh, we have several languages, so let's forget about the project. There's no way we can do that, and then we go and continue practicing another person's language. It will not help us. And that's why you see all over Africa, even until today, you still have social clashes, social conflict, political conflicts, because we are not ourselves. We cannot even speak our languages to understand each other in our countries. In France, history records that people were forced with guns or with the threat of death if they don't speak French. French was imposed on the French people. The French here was not the only language in the Gaul country or in France in the past. They had several languages, but then French was forced on people. At a time, if you don't speak French, they kill you. You have to go back and check history. So of course, we are not going to repeat other people's mistakes. We are not going to say we will kill people, definitely. But there must be a way. There must be a way. The same way I don't understand Portuguese. But if somebody writes in Portuguese and I want to understand, I can discuss with the person so that we have a copy in French for me to understand now. So if that's the case, why can't we have a national language and language per every nation? And if somebody writes in Hausa, it will be translated in my language, Ewe, for me, and people from my country can understand. Even if we do this, we are creating jobs for interpreters and translators. We will have a lot. We will need a lot. Right now, I'm a translator, English, French translator. But that field is like, there are so many people already there. We have French, English in Canada, France is there. We have translators from France, and in many African countries, in Belgium, Switzerland, and all these. So the French community is so wide. So if you are specializing in French English translation, you will not have a lot of job. But imagine you specialize in your language translation, like Ewe, for example, and we need books written in Igbo, we need books written in Swahili, we need books written to be translated into our language. That will create more jobs for us, and that's be very important. Once again, before I close, because the time is against us, I am calling on all African people. We might not have one single language for Africa, but we can have national languages. We can have a system whereby 2 countries or 3 countries can decide to have one language for them. And doing this, we are creating a national identity. We are helping ourselves to come back to the way of development. Without this, we can't develop. See how we are just turning around ourselves. We are lost because we have abandoned our root. We have abandoned our languages. So please, to you all the intellectuals that are here, and to all the decision makers all over this Africa, let's come back to let's think about it. I know changes are coming all over in Ghana here. Now they are teaching the they have chosen 3 national languages, Ewe, Hausa, and Twi. I think those 3, and the community, the different part of the country where those languages are mostly speaking, the children will learn those languages from primary 1 to 3 before now they continue with English. Our mother tongues must be the first languages to be taught. And if we do this, That's when our children, our students will start thinking, and they can think change, they can think creativity, and this will be good for us. Thank you so much. I will now leave the floor to the moderator to introduce the next speaker. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Abuchi, for just sharing. Okay, what I got from it is that we need to value our languages again, as Paula said, and we need to really reorganize and giving this value to our languages, we're going to make it a success, and we're going to have a pure identity to defend. Now, what I will say about this is that most of our languages are not written. Okay, they are not written, they are not put into the written form. So we need to work. There should be a national policy to put our writing, our languages into a written form so that they can be taught. Okay, a language can be taught once it is written, but most of them are not in the written form, and that poses a serious problem, a serious obstacle to teaching them, to learning them. Okay, so this work has to be done as a national policy to give this value to our own languages. And after this, we'll see if we forget one language for Africa. And this also will have to call for our to put down our pride that my language should be the first, the one to be spoken, okay, on the continent. We should really be objective and see the language that is much easier, more spoken, and which will be very easy to teach, to learn, and to speak. Okay, that's what I got from that. Okay, so we don't have the other speakers are not around. Maybe I will give the floor to Professor Charles Ebhoria, who have a lot to say, to tell us again, and we'll listen to his wisdom, okay, his insight on the topic. Thank you.
Oh, what about Mr. Anagu? He left. Dr. Anagu.
He's not. Prince? Yeah. He's not here, but he has no plan on the schedule. But he's no more connected. But he's not even in the schedule of this discussion. Presentation. Yeah, it's not around.
Thank you very much, my good MC. God going to lift you up and bless you for what you have done. I thank God for you. Amen, Dr. Kofi, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Prof.
Same with Paula. Paula, you have done a very good work. God going to bless you. Our IIU core member, Dr. Emina, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I want you to give a vote of thanks. And if you have one or two things to say, you can say it before your vote of.
Please, Prof. Hello, Prof.
Okay.
There are two questions, Prof.
Okay.
I think Ambassador Prince Anagu left a question like I think he's asking if there's a language called Guru. It's a language Guru. That one, question was.
No, it wasn't a question. He said that Paula was a language guru. She was a specialist in language issues. Okay, and she was reading so much instead. She was calling her a language guru.
Okay.
That's what she meant.
Now the second question, I think somebody said we need to learn from Nigeria on promotion of indigenous languages. Please, Prof, could you tell us a bit of how Nigeria promotes indigenous languages? Because I don't know anything about that.
It all depends. Just as I said, if you listen attentively to what I said, we know we have a lot of languages. We can't just say one or two or three. That was why I gave all those areas. I gave them different area, different languages. So it's left for you to pick. Because there are some languages you may look so awkward, so boring. So you don't need to do it. You need to go. Anywhere you go, as far as you want to educate, you want to teach as an educator, as an educationalist, you should be able to pick it. If you don't know it very well, you should do what? Try to learn it. It doesn't mean you'll be perfect because that's your language. Like me, anywhere I go to, I can memorize with any language. Anywhere, I will speak it. And because by the time you start speaking it, they will like you. That love will come. They will say, yeah, this is my person. And before you know, you'll be happy. So we don't want to force anybody to do it. It is your own choice. It is what you want. And what I want is what is different from what you want. And what I want is working for me because I associate myself. I'm a social person. I'm a person who acclimates easily. I will study you. Anywhere I go to, I study you and I will follow you the way you are. If I want to make any correction, I will correct you politely so that you accept me. Otherwise, if you correct that person violently, the person will no cooperation. Disagreement will come on board. So anywhere you are, you should be able to acclimate yourself with that situation. And whereby you fail to do, then you are not a peacemaker or you are not somebody who will attract people. So in Nigeria here, the same way, we have different languages, we have different things. You need to embrace what you want. And if you feel that what you want will make you happy, fine, continue. If you know that it will not make you happy, drop it. Like some of us who are vast in every language, everything we are vast because of the grace of God. It's God leading. So if God is endowing you with that wisdom, you work with the wisdom. Every language is come from God. It's God that it only requires you to be endure, have that patient mind to do what? To acclimate yourself patiently, understand it because it's going to benefit you, benefit the global world. If I'm in France, you trust, I will study that French, I will understand. If I'm in Ghana, the same way, anywhere I am, I must study that environment. So it all depends on choice. My own choice is different from yours. If you know that it will help you to flow well, very good. Flow with it, take it. If you know that it will not help you, but in my own in summary, try, even though you are not perfect in that language, try to understand it and speak one or two of them so that you can flow with the people and people will love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Let me react. Let me react to that and you will come in.
No, the question was not finished. Please, Prof. My question was, how does Nigeria as a country promote national languages? Does Nigeria promote them at all, or Nigeria does not?
When you talk of national language, you are looking at English. English is another national language. Everybody, we must speak English. If we're in the school, you don't speak your local language, you must speak English. Failure to speak English, you'll be penalized. So it's mandatory, you must speak English. We have English in our academic section, in our curriculum, everywhere you must speak English. We can add maybe our local dialect into it, maybe, but English is the basic in every subject, it's English. So
Kofi, I wanted to react to that.
Like I said, I still repeat what I said. If you look at what I said, I was able to categorize, I was able to break down 25 countries who speaks English. You see, the other countries, they don't speak English as much because it was not officially taken into consideration. If they officially make it mandatory, fine, because the government failed to make it mandatory. So they don't want to. But in those 25 countries, it is mandatory, you must. So it all depends on the leader. It depends on the environment.
Prof.
I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, Prof. My reaction to that is this. What I see about the promotion of indigenous languages in Nigeria is, first of all, the broadcast it. The broadcast it. News are brought into the local languages, okay, all over Nigeria in local language, Igbo, Hausa, and so on, okay, and Nago, and so on. Also, the movies, okay, the movies they present to the world. At times, their movies are in their local, the indigenous languages, okay, and you are forced to watch. Even if you don't understand, you see images, you associate. Then they sell it, okay. It is, and what helps also Nigeria to be able to do that is the number, the population. There are millions, okay, let's say about 1 billion now. And so if you produce a movie in Igbo or in Yoruba, you know many people are going to buy. So you are going to sell, and this helps you promote the language. In Senegal, okay, likewise, they also promote their languages through their broadcasts on the national TV and other TVs, on radio, and also through the movies that they present. There are many that are in local languages. And this is a way of selling our languages all over the world. And I think it contributes to the promotion of languages, and it gives some pride to those speaking that language. Okay, Dr. Bochi, that's my point on the questions on the promotion of
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you so much. Yeah, Prof. I think yes, you answered, but as maybe
Yeah,
Alex have said it, that helped also because as I said it, Ghana is promoting currently national languages. Those languages must be taught in the primary, like when the child starts school, the first 3 years, the child must learn the language of the area. There are several languages, and that's also a work the colonizers have done carefully, and they have placed it on, they have forced us to accept this, and we just go around with it. The fact is that they will tell you in your language, you have more than 200 languages, you have more than 50 languages, and then we just buy it like that, we accept it, and we say, okay, as we have 50 languages, we have 200 languages, as we have more than 500 languages in the country. How can we have a national language? And sorry, what I call national language is different from official language in many of our countries. National means that that's the language of the area.
Yes.
Official language is the one coming from the colonizers.
Foreign. Yes.
English in Ghana is the official language, but it's not a national language. In Togo, French is the official language, but French is not our national language. Now, in our countries, the national language issue is very important because although Ghana has many languages, I think that would be more than 100, but they have chosen 3 of them, which have the greatest member or greatest number of speakers in the areas. So in those 3 big regions, if you start school, that's the national policy to promote those languages. If you start school, you need to learn those languages first. And then I think from primary 3 or primary 4, year 3 or year 4, now you start, you continue with English, you start learning the official language, which is the fact. And if you go between Togo and Ghana, you will see in everyday life, people mostly speak the national languages more than the official languages, even in offices. I had a chance to spend some time in some embassies here, even in foreign embassies in our country. People mostly speak our national languages than the official languages. The official language is for administrative purposes. It's just like in England, back in the time of 100 years, when France colonized England and France forced the people, the English people, to speak French. But French was used just in the administration, while English was still used in everyday life. People use English, but then for administrative sake, they have to use French. And many writers, even at the time, were writing in French until some students said, no, we can't write in another person's language. We have to start writing in in English, and his writings helped to give life back to English when the French people left, so that English could really come back to itself. Nowadays, many of us, we are still connected to the colonial master's language to the point that we forget about our national language. And seriously, I praise the efforts of Ghana in terms of this. And I want to encourage other African countries. I know some others are doing even better. Yes, I encourage all African countries to make it compulsory for our kids, the younger ones who are starting school now, to start with the national language, the language of the area, the language that people speak as a native language in the area. They should start teaching those languages. And then after a certain year, or where the child now is a bit fluent and confident in their language, now they can bring the official, which is the colonial language. And once again, I'm going against.
Sorry,
Yeah,
both can go.
Okay.
It's not compulsory they start with that, because children, by the time you don't give them that English from inception, I am telling you, it's very difficult for them. So what we do in Nigeria here, both the native language, indigenous language, and the official language goes hand in hand. They have subjects. It is now I'm getting what you have just said. We have subjects in primary school, in nursery school. We have English, we have Yoruba. When you are in maybe a Edo State or whatever, you have Bini. When you are in Igbo something, you have Igbo, you have English. But English is paramount. They should start with both to go hand in hand. They can't just start with one and later go on the second one. No, let it go together. That is what I will advise, rather than just one later. No, it's better they go hand in hand, because children, they learn faster when they are small. Faster. Anything you give them, they will take, because they don't have any distraction. They go on it. So I would rather suggest, let two of them go simultaneously, so as to make sure that they are able to get that substance and memorize it very well. So when they get grow adult like us now, when they are working, when they are whatever, they are university or they are in employment where they will now be speaking that official language, which is that English. But at the inception should be English and the indigenous language.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prof.
very much.
Thank you, Prof.
Dr. Emena, please, can you give vote of thanks and at least say one or two things?
Will be a pleasure. Will be a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Team IIU Africa. Thank you, Sir Charles. Congratulations for this initiative. Country Director of Nigeria, the Head of Africa Continent, the Honorable Professor Dr. Chap General Ebhoria U Charles, and the great Team Africa. I was deeply impressed. I'm deeply impressed by your speeches. All speeches great, by the moderators, Dr. Kofi and Tatendra. Congratulations. I am so happy to see a youth like Tatendra that he is involved in the conference, and great. Congratulations, Tatendra. Congratulations, Sir Charles, for this. Great moderation, great speeches. Africa is the oldest inhabited area in the world. Africa stays value the cultural value of ancestral language, and here is our roots. We must not forget our roots, because here is our history, our origins. In totally, the number of language and dialects spoken by Africa, I learned today, are people amounts to 200. Yes. I learned it correct, I hope. As the second largest continent in the world, one might wonder if there are any English-speaking countries in Africa, and the answer will be yes, there is. There are also about 24 English-speaking countries in Africa, with a population that now exceed 1.3 billion people and 5 countries. Africa has been the center of diversity for a very long time and continue to be, because you keep the dialects, the ancestral dialects, and this is very, very good. We develop, we evolve, but we don't must forget our roots, like I say, our ancestors. Thank you, Sir Pandit, for this great platform, your involvement and support. Indeed, you show us every day that the education has no borders. Today we have Africa with us, all team from Africa, that we shall be mentors. You show us that we shall be mentors to the young people of the next generation. Education unites us, unite our hearts, no matter in what different corner of the world we are. Let us not educate children for today's world. This world will no longer exist when they are big, and nothing allows us to aim like their world is going to be like. then let's teach them to adapt. Let's teach them to keep our tradition, our history, our roots. Not forget, if you cannot fly, then run. If you cannot run, then go. If you cannot go, then go. But whatever you do, not give up. IIU is the change. I remember you. IIU brings the change. IIU is the revolution always. Thank you for the vote of thanks. It's a real honor. Congratulations again to Africa and Sir Charles.
Thank you very much, my able doctor.
And for
thank you very much.
Happy
Dr. Kofi, thank you very much. I appreciate you. God will going to keep us alive. Better things are coming. Don't worry, better, good things are coming. Just patiently do your work. God will bless every one of us. There is nothing more than hard work. Hard work pays. It gives you that more to work harder. If we are not given the grace to do what we are doing, we cannot do it. It's the grace of God. That's why we appreciate God. And I appreciate IIU. IIU have been trying. They have been doing a lot. I appreciate them. Our Chap has been so good, friendly, and go so good, giving us that opportunity. We started since last year. Look at us. Every month we must have it and educate people. So we are also asking some other African countries, join our IIU. We are there. If you have anything to say, anything you want, let us know. We are there. Our posters are there. Very soon now, we start our convocation. Our convocation will be coming up a month from now. So I appreciate every one of us to come into it, and God will come to bless us and support us. Thank you very much, everybody. All the listeners, God will come to alleviate us and bless us with good health of mind and body. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, IIU. Thank you, Emina. Thank you, Kofi. Thank you, my dear young star. God will come to lift you high. Thank you very much for your effort. God will come to bless you. We'll keep on welcoming you. We'll keep on using you so that other younger ones will know that at least the youth are trying. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.